The hiatus is over. It is time for the lunch hour with Guff here on the recap. Back after a couple of days of completely, not completely, but off the radar, so to speak, in the middle of America with Cap. Got back this morning from the Kansas Colorado game, which we were at last night, which was unbelievable in terms of a uh, atmosphere as good as it gets in college basketball. I did not know what to expect, but I will say that my opinion of Allen Fieldhouse, Bill Self, has all changed. Bill Self could not have been more gracious with our time, or with his time. And here we are. We're back. We took the early flight home to avoid this chaos, and it is chaos out there here in Chicago with snow everywhere. It was snowing in KC this morning when we left. We knew we had to get up and get out before we were grounded, and it looks like our original flight might be. But anyway, recap lunch hours back. Sorry about the last couple of days. We were out and about. We were at the University of Kansas yesterday, like all throughout the day in Lawrence, and then we were with Bill Self for about 25 minutes at one point. Just a pretty awesome, incredible thing. What other big college stadiums have you been to? Says Lip Ripper. I know, Lip Ripper, I missed your bets last week. Plus, couldn't get any bets in. So that sucked too. So we started this tradition last year, Cap and some other buddies, and we started hitting college, basketball. So we went to Duke. I mean, can we start any better than Duke in Kansas? I don't know. In terms of what other big college stadiums for basketball, those are the two best by far. I've been to a lot of I've been to Assembly Hall at Indiana. Obviously, I've been to Purdue. Couple of good barns, but nothing like Allen Fieldhouse. The real Phil Simms. Welcome back, Guff. Kansas definitely handled their business. Allen Fieldhouse was off the charts, and it was funny because people were apologizing for lack of atmosphere. It's like, oh, today's not going to be as good because it's a Tuesday. It's a late game. There's the hangover from the Super Bowl. The weather, and I mean, I don't know. It was pretty sweet. Took some video of the Rock Chalk Jayhawk chants, and it was sweet. Trying to think of any other big basketball stadiums. I've been to a ton of games, just not at that type of atmosphere. So, really, really cool. What's up, Eric? Honestly, I didn't care who won or lost the Super Bowl this year. But to me, the Eagles look much better on paper than the Chiefs. I'm hearing Eagles-Bears opening night this game this season. Yeah, Adam Schefter is certainly speculating that the Bears could certainly be in the mix for opening night, Thursday night football this fall when the Eagles unveil their banner. Part of me is kind of like, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want that, so everyone can be like, oh, it's same old Bears. But at the same time, what's that say about how the NFL feels about the Bears if they were to pick them for the opening night of NFL football? I mean, the fact that we're sitting here on February 12th talking about the possibility of the Bears opening the season in Philadelphia, it's like, dude, that's 7 months from now. Aren't you guys excited that baseball's back and the Cubs and White Sox pitchers and catchers report? I say that a little bit in jest, certainly for White Sox fans. It's just a roster that a lot of people are not familiar with. And then the Cubs have a lot of excitement. By far and away, the most talented team in the division, in this city. This team is desperate for a winner, or this town is desperate for a winner. The Bregman stuff, the smoke continues to gather. It feels like we're just not that far away from Alex Bregman announcing that he's going to sign with the Cubs. The report yesterday that said he's now he's only focusing on short-term deals with opt-outs. It just feels like it's all leading towards the Cubs. Phil, any news on Bregman and Cease? Talking about him now. Cease, certainly, I think if you can add one of those two, if not both, to be considered a serious contender with the Braves, Dodgers, and Phillies, the Cubs have to win at least 95 games. You might not like this, but I think the Cubs need to very similar to what Tom Ricketts. The Cubs need to focus on getting into the playoffs. I don't know if there's a set number of games. 90 wins does seem like that number. So I don't care if it's 90, 95, whatever you want. They got to get in this year. There has to be a sense of urgency. What's up, Swayze? What's the next great Cubs team? The next great Cubs team, I mean, the next great Cubs team will have to be one that goes deep in the playoffs. I mean, that's at this point, like we were talking about this earlier at the airport. You can't sit here and be like, man, wait until, like our YouTube channel. Like we have a lot of you guys have been around with us for a long time, 200,000+. We have not a winner in town and people are watching. Wait till this town takes off. Here's the problem. You can't sit there and like think about what if and what might be if a town like the Cubs have done it once in 100 years. The White Sox have done it once in 100 years. The Bears have lost 10 games or more in 8 of 11 seasons. The Bulls are going backwards and the Hawks are years away. I mean, just being honest, just a casual fan, but is Bregman even good anymore? Okay. This is like the third time I've had this asked to me, not just on this show, but on the radio and with just in friends conversations. So Alex Bregman had quote unquote a down year last year. He was a 4-win player, 4.1 WAR. He had a 768 OPS, the lowest of his career. His OPS plus was 118, though. Keep in mind, average is 100. He still, in his worst year, hit 26 homers, had 75 RBI. He had 58 extra base hits. He's a lock pretty much for 60 extra base hits. 25 or more. His 162 game average, 272, 366, 483, 28 homers, 97 RBI. So is Alex Bregman even good anymore? Absolutely. And does he make you better today? Absolutely. If he signs, what the hell's going to happen with Shaw? So a couple of thoughts on that for me. Number one, going into a season that you're expecting to get into playoffs, you don't leave a lot of wiggle room for Matt Shaw to have struggles if you're all in and that's it. That being said, it sounds as if there would be deals behind the Bregman deal, meaning Nico Horner could still be a guy who's dealt for pitching, which would free up a second base spot. Then you have Nicky Lopez. Now, Nicky Lopez doesn't have the talent of Matt Shaw, but Nicky Lopez is probably more of a veteran with a big favorite, with a big, good shot of winning a bench role as a kind of a roving second shortstop guy. Tyler, the reason I think the Cubs still trade Nico if they sign Bregman, they have to stay under the tax. Shaw is ready and probably better at second. Yeah, I mean, like, as we were just saying, here's the thing. I hate that they have to trade a guy like Nico Horner because defensively, you want to be strong up the middle. And the Cubs are as strong as any team. You have Gold Glove Nico Horner, Gold Glove Dansby Swanson, Gold Glove possibility down the line in PCA. To have to trade that to stay, I just don't love that. It's like, well, you get one, but you got to trade another. It's kind of like the Bellinger. Get as many good players as you can. I think the Cubs have a good chance to make the playoffs this season, but we still need a couple more players to make this roster pretty much set. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they are going to add. It almost feels certain to me that they're going to add Bregman or Cease. Like it's got that feeling, doesn't it? Doesn't it have that feeling that one of those two guys is coming here? It does to me. It seems like Bregman's going to be here by the end of the week. It just has that feeling. Thomas, Mahomes sure did jinx himself. I liked it. I like that Mahomes wore green. Don't be scared of the enemy. Embrace him. It was way more than Patrick Mahomes, guys. Vic Fangio ate Matt Nagy and company for lunch. Lip Ripper, I'm excited for those 45 wins for the White Sox. I know, man. Like, it's hard. Here's what I'm concerned most about the White Sox. And I'm not being facetious here whatsoever. Because I do want to see growth and I want to see improvement from a lot of these guys, like these young guys. I'm excited about seeing these. I'm nervous about the pitching. I just don't know if there's enough right now to get through 162 games. You don't even know who your five-man rotation is. You don't know who's pitching the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I mean, that's tough. I mean, and you don't want to overdo it with somebody and face an injury. Erica says the Bulls are in the black hole of the abyss. We're at the Kansas game last night in Lawrence. Third row behind the Kansas bench. Insane. Okay. Matter of fact, let me queue up. I'll show you guys a picture. And Cap and I are watching the Bulls game because we're degenerates. And as we say, we watch so you don't have to. 29 points at the half for the Bulls. By the way, those seats were those will play. That was our seats last night for the Kansas game. I mean, not too shabby. So we're sitting there watching the Chicago Bulls game. And we're like, what are we doing? But we have to do a recap. By the way, Bill Self's office, a little bit of hardware. And that's just the national titles, by the way. Not bad. So yeah, Erica, it's embarrassing. And the Bulls play the Pistons again tonight after losing by 40 last night. 40. Swayze says, I see 89 to 94 wins with this current roster. You add seats, 100 is possible. Look, get in. I feel like they're about a 90 to 92 win team right now. But you can't just write off. You can't just write off the Milwaukee Brewers. You can't. They're way too, that organization, that coaching staff, they're too good. Is it true the Padres want to trade Xander and Cronenworth? Would you even consider sending Nico and Bush to San Diego for those two? Well, yeah. Can the Cubs afford those guys? I don't think so. Xander Bogaerts is getting paid like $30 million a year. If you stand by for a second, I'm not kidding. How are you? And Cronenworth, let's see here. Xander Bogaerts. Oh, yeah. No shot the Cubs are trading for Xander Bogaerts. He's owed $25.454 through the year 2033. Xander Bogaerts has 9 years left on that deal. 9 years. There is zero shot that they are trading for Xander Bogaerts. Zero. And then Cronenworth. Let me look at Cronenworth. He signed at 12.3 for 6 more years. Dude, no shot. I don't see any situation. There's way too much money in years. What's up, Eli? I think, Phil, at this point, there's truth. Like, all rumors are there. There's a lot going on. There's still a lot of free agents. I think everything is still a possibility once I think the Bregman domino falls. My book projection of the year for the White Sox, Colson Montgomery, he wins Rookie of the Year and they get another first rounder. Well, they're definitely going to get a first rounder in the draft. I like that bold prediction. If Colson Montgomery wins Rookie of the Year, that's a great year for the White Sox. I'm at work now, Ryan McGuffey. Will our Chicago White Sox be better this year? Does Alex Bregman and or Dylan Cease come to the Cubs and help them win the Central? I think yes. One of those Bregman and then in terms of the White Sox, will they be better? I guess it depends on everyone's definition. Do I think they'll win 42 or more games? Yes. Can I say they'll win 55 or more? I don't think so. But because of a lot of the guys and the young guys you have coming, it should be more exciting. And I expect the type of baseball to be played to be a lot cleaner, a lot better. I think Will Venable was a really, really good hire. Guff, you had a bigger crowd at the Kansas game than any White Sox game last year. Just saying. I mean, what's with the dig? I get it. By the way. And then there's this guy, Bill Self, in the middle. That was before the game. That was at shoot around yesterday afternoon. As good as it gets, guys. As good as it gets. Eric, I agree. Create as much depth as you can and let our young prospects like Matt Shaw continue to develop. I'm not saying that Matt Shaw can't take off and win Rookie of the Year. I'm just saying you pigeonhole yourself if you come up, put all the expectations on him, and he struggles out of the gate. It's not like we haven't seen that before in baseball. Call me crazy, says Lip Ripper. You're crazy. But if the Sox starting five is thin, why not call Cease and just try? Because why would the White Sox, they want a top-level prospect, the Padres, in return for Dylan Cease. Why would the White Sox, who just traded Dylan Cease as part of this rebuild, turn around and trade prospect capital for Dylan Cease for 1 year? Doesn't make any sense. And I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. First half score of the Bulls game looked like the first half of the Monsters versus the tune-in squad. Kind of one-sided is. And tonight, It's weird. A back-to-back at home against the same team. The Pistons are 6.5-point favorites tonight. That's embarrassing. And I don't know. The Bulls could win. Who knows? Oh, my Chicago Bulls comment is the last thing I say about the team and the organization this season. All right, Eric, I'm holding you to it. If you say one more thing about the Bulls, I'm going to call you out. Accountability. We have accountability on the recap. Definitely not riding off the Brew Crew, but with another power arm, we can get him, Guff. I agree. 62 and 100. That would be at a 21 game improvement for the White Sox. That might be the best in baseball if they finish 62 and 100. That's crazy. Eli says gets to 60 to be respectable. Erica's saying a Sox will be a 60-win team. That would be huge. I know it sounds laughable. It's an 18 to 20 game improvement, folks. Cubs need to trade for Cease unless it would cost us Shaw. Otherwise, they need to trade whatever it takes. Erica, I agree. They're not trading Matt Shaw for Dylan Cease. But would Owen Casey get that done? I would be very much involved on that trade. I don't care if we win the Central, says Corey. I want to win the World Series. Does Bregman put us over? I don't think so. We need pitching. Bring up Matt Shaw. If you get in the dance, Corey, you can't tell me you can't win the World Series. And does Bregman put you over? No. But does he make you better? Yes. And being better gets you closer to being over. Jerry, day one of spring training. What up, Jerry? And I'm depressed. If things go perfectly, the White Sox go 54 and 108. Man, I understand what's depressing is like you look at the graphics and see the players who are on there and you're just like, who? I don't think if they go perfectly, Jerry, I think like perfectly they go like 62 or 60, 63 and 99 to me would be perfect because you get out of losing 100 games, you'd have a 22 game improvement. That to me would be about as perfect as things go. But you're probably right. They're probably more in the 54 spot right now. Look, there's guys out there. From a pitching standpoint, and I know you may roll your eyes, but like Chris Flexen, he gave the White Sox 160 innings last year. They need guys like that to kind of eat up some of these innings. They don't have the depth right now to withstand guys getting beat up after 3 or 4 innings. They don't have the bullpen depth. They don't have the starting pitching depth. They have the depth in theory, but they're all young. A lot of these guys have never been to the big leagues. And then the guy like Kai Bush, who spent time in the big leagues at the end of last year, is getting Tommy John today. So, look, that's going to keep happening. Phil, when will AK and the Settlers accept the fact that the Bulls aren't that good and just tank the rest of the year? Phil, this guy said a week ago that they could play for the play-in game or even playoffs. That's what AK said a week ago. So I'm just to the point where I don't know if they see what we see. There will be a Bulls recap podcast taping later today with Joe Cowley and Cap. That will drop later tonight on the channel. Justin, what's up? Justin's got a new White Sox podcast. Eli, do you think the NBA is going to make the Bulls get the number 1 pick because of the Lakers with Luka? The Knicks are good now, and they want the Bulls good again. So, Eli, you're telling me you're a conspiracy theorist, that they're going to fix the draft lottery. I don't see that happening. I'm not saying the Bulls can't win the draft lottery. They just will need a lot of help. Yeah, our Sox are going to surprise. Justin's the most positive White Sox fan I know, which I love, by the way. Clyde says, I think Ben Brown and Caleb Killian can help the Cubs pitching. Yeah, they're going to get contributions from guys like that. Cade Horton. We'll see. Excited for the Four Nations tourney? No. I know. Sorry if that doesn't, it just doesn't float my boat. It doesn't. Is that the Four Nations hockey tournament? Internet. I mean, it's going on right now, right? It's like the NHL has like their break right now. So I don't know. Sure. I'm not mad at it, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time watching it. Landon, so many players had historically bad years, unlikely to replicate that futility. Sox will move back. I mean, God, you guys, your lips to God's ears. Can our White Sox go 62 and 100? That would be a good thing. God, I can't believe I'm saying that. That's where I'm resigned. I'm saying like that's a good thing that they could go 62 and 100. Baseball offseason is Will sucking. There needs to be a deadline. They'll never do it. Yeah, no, I don't see a deadline. I do think this is going to be one of the things that's brought up in the next CBA, which will probably send this sport to another very long strike. Looking forward to your White Sox reguffs this spring. Landon, I like it. Welcome to the reguff of the White Sox 7-2 loss. I like it. Erica, Cubs, NL Central champs with or without Bregman. I do think Jed pulls off one more big move at least. He's on last year of his contract, so he knows Cubs have to. Erica, I think I'm with you here. I think the Cubs, like I keep refreshing while I'm on here. I keep refreshing MLB trade rumors as if like the Cubs are going to sign Alex Bregman while we're on this, which would be awesome. And if they do, we will go live because that would be a big deal. We will break in and we will talk about Alex Bregman or Dylan Cease or maybe both. Maybe both. Terry, if it's true Ricketts is hesitant to sign off on the Bregman deal because this is the last year of Jed's contract, that's weak. Either you trust the guy you hired to put a team together or you let him go. I don't think Jed Hoyer's contract is holding up an Alex Bregman deal. So whoever's crossing those, trying to connect those dots, I don't see that because they have plenty of guys. They have plenty of guys signed through this season that don't line up with Jed's deal. That's just the way baseball. I mean, Dansby Swanson's here for the long haul. I don't see that being true at all. Clyde says, I need my Sox to give me a reason to play a season on my MLB The Show. That's the reason, Clyde. That's the reason. So you can actually control the narrative and be a much better team than the team on the field. There's Kurt. I'm surprised. I was waiting for you, Kurt, our resident Cubs complainer. And I'm saying that with respect because I get it. You know what? I'm kind of like, can we sign Bregman already too? Because I'm sick and tired of I'm sick of talking about it here. Like, let's just get this done, get him here, and let's move on. Oh, Lip Ripper, we're saying, look at Lip Ripper tonight, Katie. He likes the Gamecocks. Plus 180 at home. Katie's a big fan. South Carolina alum. She's happy about Lip Ripper's picks here. I love Lip Ripper's always going out west. New Mexico over. St. John's Nova over. Funny pick that you have there, Lip Ripper. I think you and I, my friend, are thinking somewhat similar here, and we'll get to the recap bet of the day here in just a minute. Swayze can't lie. I haven't been this excited for Cubs baseball in a while. I think I'm going Ferris Bueller on opening day. Love it. But like announcing you're going Ferris Bueller has already told your boss you're going to miss that day. It's like announcing an Irish exit. Once you announce it to people, you can no longer call it an Irish exit. It's just the way it works. Phil Sims. Is it true they offered Bregman 4 for $100? Here's what I'm telling you, and this is from my good buddy Bruce Levine, who's been working this deal. He's saying the Cubs are interested, but they're interested on their terms. Whether it's a two-year deal with an opt-out after each year, 3 or 4. You could see a 3-year deal with an opt-out after each year, maybe a 4-year deal. I hope I'm coming to Chicago in November. Hopefully, I need to see my dad. Can I have a tour of the REKAP studio? Well, I don't want to just give them out here, Eli. I appreciate it. But I do think the idea of touring off the REKAP studios could be something we discuss down the line for sure. I hope you get to see your dad. Erica, I love Dansby, but man, he needs to be so much better this year. He's making too much money to suck. Erica, at Cubs convention, Dansby Swanson said he has not been healthy for 2 years, that he was playing through a pretty bad injury, lower body injury, I think, which, first of all, appreciative of that. Secondly, if you're too banged up and you're like, that's hard. So he's fully healthy, which is huge. So I expect, and we had the Cubs hitting coach on Inside the Clubhouse last week. He said the player he was most looking forward to seeing, Dansby Swanson, because he's healthy. I'd love him as a Cub, but if not, let's move on. Yeah, talking about Bregman. A couple more guys. Ricketts is a liar. Said marquee money would go into new players. I don't believe anything he says. I think there's people who are saying that. I get it, but they're not making as much off of Marquee Network as a lot of people think. The TV deals, as I've said on this channel, and Jess, what's up? She brings a great point here. They're not making the LA, like I've talked so much about where CHSN is versus like Marquee versus the Dodgers Network Spectrum. This is real, folks, and there's not a lot of money coming back in these TV deals right now. some teams did a terrible job of forecasting television revenue. And the unicorn contracts that the Dodgers have will never exist again. So, Jess, thanks for adding that. Let's get the Mets are making the World Series, says Lip Ripper. I don't hate that pick. That's a dangerous lineup, man. Dangerous lineup. All right, so we had Super Bowl picks, as we know, and we went 2-1 on the 3 props I gave out. The only thing that didn't hit, Xavier Worthy never got a carry in that game, which the thing got out of hand pretty quick, and getting Xavier Worthy a carry was no longer of interest to Andy Reid and company. All right, so Lip Ripper, you had the over in the St. John's game. I'm laying the 2.5 at Villanova tonight. So we go 2-1 in the props. We're back to 500 overall since we started this whole thing. We are 16-16, our last 32 bets. Hey, again, enough to win some, lose some, win some, lose some. Let's go on a little run here. St. John's has been awesome. How about what Rick Pitino has done? They're 21-3. They've won 10 in a row, including a win against Villanova at home on January 11th. 12-point win. That's why Lip Ripper likes the over there. Over the total, just 139.5. St. John's has gone under the total in 6 out of 7 and 4 straight. I like him in this game. I like him. They're laying 2.5. They are just playing at a different level right now. They're coming off a very emotional win against UConn, which kind of makes me seem like, is this a letdown game because they won at UConn? But they've had 5 days now since that win. And so if this was like a back-to-back or something like that, where they only had like a day off in between, I feel like this would be a trap game. But tonight, I'm laying it. Sneaky good. Yeah, I'm laying the 2.5 tonight on the St. John's Red Storm. I'm going to lay, like at that point, I think I'm going to go with the trend. The trend is my friend here. Back-to-back would be a trap game. Yeah, there's been 5 days between games. I think it's a little different. Swayze says, going back to the Cubs, spotlight player, Swayze, if he's healthy, it better show. I think a lot of people feel it. And I think he feels the responsibility of being that player that the Cubs signed for $178 million. Erica, how about good plan B? And that's if you don't get Bregman. Sign Justin Turner, which the Cubs have been linked to. I like Justin Turner, even at 40. And then maybe you trade for Dylan Cease. Owen Casey would be in that trade. Well, we think he would be in that trade. What do you think of the Cubs signing Turner, Bregman? I've always been a Justin Turner guy. From what I know about some friends that worked with the Dodgers, ultimate culture guy. Still has some left in the tank too. Like last year, I think he was in what? He got traded. He went to the Blue Jays and Seattle. Okay. So with the Blue Jays, he was just kind of average. He gets traded to Seattle, has a OPS plus of 128, a slug of 403. He still had another 11 pops and 55 ribbies last year. He still had a WAR of 1.5. The dude can play. He's 40 years old. What a career for that for Justin Turner. I don't like that at all. I don't mind that at all. It's not 2014 anymore. Teams need to figure out streaming to make TV work for them. But when streaming's pushing back, Terry, streaming's not lining up to go, you know what I need? The Cubs, the White Sox, the Bulls. Streaming services are going, we're not interested. So the direct to consumer, which a lot of people are complaining about, it's actually pretty good. You know, the Guardians just made their entire season available for $100 for the year. That's the kind of stuff you can buy CHSN and watch the White Sox for $20 a month. You can get the Marquee Network. So Clyde says Ricketts said he's trying to break even. He did. There's nothing that stands out, Lip, to me. Maybe some props. I'll see. Every deal Ricketts signs off on is a bargain. When's the last time he paid for a top? Dansby Swanson was $178 million, Godfather. And I'm telling you, in the days of WGN, guys, like the Cubs were not making – the reason the Cubs and White Sox and others left WGN, it was pennies on the dollar. NBC Sports Chicago was paying $600,000 a game to broadcast the rights. WGN was not. WGN was paying nickels to that. You got it, Lip. David, good afternoon. As we're wrapping things up, will CHSN televise all spring training games? I can get that answer for you. I don't know. You know, the question is, will they get a contract with it? I would be stunned if they don't do at least 6-7 games. Let's see if I can get an answer as I'm here on the show before we wrap things up. Let me see if I can get that answer. because here, I'm doing it right now. I'll try to get an answer for you guys. I love when you ask questions. You guys, I'm telling you, WGN, it's not happening. And if it does, like the teams aren't going to make any money off of it. I know it's hard to believe because, like, oh, it's WGN and everybody is getting X. That's why teams started their own network to make money. Jess, CHSN would be great if we had winning teams. Heck, even hope at this point. Front office is not changing with the Bulls. Sox won't have hope until 2027. Hawks are a dumpster fire. Yes. As my daily recap sneeze. I'm telling you, Clyde, I appreciate all these stations, but they're just not going to do it. They're not going to make money. I have a text out for whether or not the White Sox are going to be on CHSN this spring. I bet they are. That would be they're launching a network with a team. I would be surprised if they did not have at least a week's worth of games. We used to do that when we were at NBC Sports Chicago all the time. All right, we're going to put a bow on this edition of the Recap Lunch Hour here. I will get that answer for you guys. We can talk about it tomorrow and go from there. Yeah. Hey, a lot going on, even though it's like we're trying to fill that void now, but with you thought they were, this made my day better. Appreciate you. Hey, sorry, guys. Sorry I disappeared on you. Didn't give any heads up, but Cap and I were out of town and we're back. How much for CHSN? Go to chsn.com. I think it's $20 a month or $30 a month. You can get all three teams. I'll call myself out for that comment, the WGNL. Yeah. All right. So here, I just got an information. It looks like they're doing 7 games. So seven or so, 5 to 7 games maybe. Like I said, they'll do about a week's worth of games, which I think, to be honest with you, is fine. I think that's fine. And worked out the kinks. Sometimes you don't need to. I think spring training games, they don't make a lot of money. They cost a lot of money, and not a lot of people watch them. It's just being fair. So you're welcome, David. I always try to get the questions for you guys. All right, let's put a bow on this for everybody at the recap, for Katie, for Cap, for me. It's been the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff, Ryan McGuffey. You guys have a great day. Hey, stay safe. If you're driving, stay safe. A lot of shoveling to be done tonight, a lot of snow blowing. So please be safe out there, and we will do this again tomorrow. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.